Hey, my name is Kelly. Welcome to this video. I'm going to be sharing with you some tips that you can do with your children today to enhance their well-being and your conversations with them, and also their brain development. So in this video, like I said, there's going to be 5 tips, so stick with me and I will talk about how these are the things that you could do to help your experience and your child's experience. So if you missed last week's video, I will link it up in the iCard and below in the description. There are some easy ways when your child is begging you to play with them and to read to them and to look at what they did, that you can interact with them but not have to get up from your seat, because sometimes, let's be honest, like getting down on the floor and playing and just focusing on how to be creative and imaginative at their level, it can be really challenging. There's I forgot the quote, but someone had said once that you should always meet the child's level of excitement or whatever their energy is. Like if they're sad, to be sad with them and to be excited with them. But sometimes it can be really hard when you're playing with your child to get in that mindset that you need to imagine at their level, because as adults we've kind of lost that imagination sometimes. Now these 5 tips are going to help you be present for your kids, and that enhance their well-being and also their brain development, because these are some essentials to brain development. So let me dive into it so it makes more sense. Now, open-ended questions. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but I will insert some pictures here so that you can see what I'm talking about. When your child's doing an activity or playing or is doing some artwork and crafts, open-ended questions are extremely important. It's an easy way to spark a conversation with them, interact without having to actively play and really get involved, but it helps them to continue play or whatever it is that they're doing. Now this enhances their brain development because you're getting those wheels rolling for them. They're thinking like, okay, what's the answer to this question? If they didn't have that answer to this question, they're thinking about it. And if you were never to ask that question, they might have not gone on with the activity or thought of a new direction, or maybe thought that much into their artwork, but it gets their creativity going and it really helps them continue and stick with it, with whatever they're doing. It really just feels like you're caring and you're involved, and that's what they want. They really just want you to be involved. They don't need all of those activities I showed you in this last video. They just want to be with you and involved in a deep connection and conversation. So open-ended questions is a great way to do that with your children every day, as much as you can think of it. And I save these pictures on my phone so that when I'm kind of like stuck and I don't know what to ask, I can pull up these questions. I just basically went on Pinterest and found open-ended questions to share. It really does help. It goes a long way. Another thing is to remember in this picture, when they are acting a certain way throughout the day, that they're needing something and they're lacking something from you, or they're lacking something from their well-being. So when you see your child acting up, refer back to this picture and say, okay, what can I do to tweak, what I'm doing during my day so that my child feels more connected with me and will less likely to have this reaction. So I try to remember, like, just when you're feeling depleted, you're like, okay, do I need rest? Did I not get enough water today? Am I low on vitamin D? Same thing with emotional levels. Like when your child is acting up, and they're showing you, that's how they're showing you, like, hey, I'm lacking the connection with you today, or I'm lacking whatever it is. So I always refer back to this photo and I keep it on my phone so that it's really easy for me to like diagnose what's happening during this behavior, and try to remember as much as you can to refer back to it, and just basically look at it before you react and try to just act like they're just being bad, because most likely something's going on. So this really helps to enhance their well-being, and they develop a pattern like, okay, I'm learning from this because, yeah, maybe this is what I needed. And for my 7-year-old, I will be honest with him and I say, hey, you know, it looks like you are wanting to connect with me one-on-one without the girls around. So let's try to figure out when we can do that. So it's a learning opportunity for us and for them, and each situation becomes easier and easier, and eventually just becomes routine. So another thing I also wanted to add here was a quote. I call it the wildflower quote, and you know, it just really talks about, which I've mentioned before, a quote called "Be Where Your Feet Are" from another YouTuber. That's like they're saying at the end of their video, they remind you, be where your feet are. And it's just so true. Like in this wildflower quote, they talk about, you know, the future. And the future for moms can just be 5 minutes ahead. Like, okay, I'm sitting here with my child, they're wanting my attention, and I'm like, yeah, sure, but like in my mind, I'm like, did I put the laundry in the dryer? You know, I need to grab this, or I hear my phone going off. Like, the future doesn't always have to mean like next week, next year, you know, 5 years from now. It could also, as a mom, just mean like the next 5 minutes, the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next meal. We're always thinking about something. So to be more present for your child, you really just need to be where your feet are, and that means in the moment, living like what's right in front of you. You know, just look at what's in front of you and your surrounding and be grounded with them, and just try to remember this quote and eliminate those distractions. And here's my last tip. In order to do that, in order to like eliminate those distractions, you need to decide on what it is that you're gonna do. So in this moment, I'm gonna be present with my children. I'm gonna put my phone away. Okay, I'm focusing, I'm here. Yes, mommy's here, like you have my attention. I'm done, like I'm done doing whatever I'm doing. And just really get that mindset into your head, like I need to do this. And this is the time I'm opening up my phone for those open-ended questions. I'm not going to be looking at anything else. I'm looking at them. I want to feel connected with them. So that means like a physical attraction to you and your child. Like you're going to feel that connection because you weren't just there present being like the thing in the way. You were present, you know, emotionally and physically with them during this time. And that really, really is important because like I showed you that emotions picture, all of those things throughout the day that happen is really because of the lack of connection we had with them. And so you have to decide, have that mindset in your own soul so that they can feel that connection with you. And so those are my 5 tips to being present for your children during, you know, every day. So I hope that helped you. Those are my 5 tips that you can apply today to be more present for your children, whether it's during playtime and they're wanting you to play but you're just too tired to do it, or you see your child acting up and you're realizing that maybe you didn't connect on a one-to-one level with them today. And even on good days when we get caught up and everything's going well, don't forget to just enhance your day by adding some of these things into your day and, you know, making the experience to a whole nother level.